Hello and welcome to another edition of This Week in Wabash. I'm Wade Weaver. We've been doing this for over a year. We've got a show today that's going to feature a really awesome young lady, Grayson Kelly from Southwood. She's a senior. Mike Kefeber, superintendent of MSD schools, will interview her. We'll also talk to Bev Ferry about things opening up and a really cool project that's going on that you can do to talk about special things with your senior loved ones. Also, Mayor Scott Long will join us and give us an update on what's going on in Wabash. Join us this day for This Week in Wabash right here on 1059thebash.com and all of our Facebook pages.
Today at MSD of Wabash County, we have with us Grayson Kelly, who is a senior at Southwood Junior Senior High School. And as you can tell, we're not at Southwood today, but we are at Hoosier Chiropractic in Wabash, Indiana. So that's great to be able to be here, and welcome.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. So, well, tell us, Grayson, a little bit about yourself and including your activities that you have had during your high school career at Southwood Junior Senior High School.
Well, I've been a cheerleader since 7th grade. I do 4-H, do choir. I'm part of the National Honor Society. That's about it.
So you're keeping busy.
Yeah.
So you seem a little quiet here, and cheerleaders I know are a little bit different than that. So you can just relax because just act like you're a cheerleader today. So a lot of success with Southwood this year, and I bet that was really fun doing all the things, football, basketball, and all the things, and then of course the things that you've done too. So that's really neat. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the highlights that you have had during your high school career?
Well, in freshman year, I got to cheer at state, which was really fun. And then cheering at state or semi-state this year was fun too.
Okay. Yeah, those are certainly highlights that you will not ever forget. Very memorable. So, and you're probably wondering, the audience is probably wondering too, why we're here at Hoosier Chiropractic. So tell us a little bit about your professional internship. Of course, now we already know, we already have the logo here. So tell us a little bit about your experiences here.
Well, I've got to learn a lot about the chiropractic field and how to deal with all different types of patients. And then being downtown, I got to learn about everything that goes into planning downtown events.
Okay. So you talking about, so have you done another internship then? Or
No,
it's just
this one.
Oh, just this one. But just because you're here downtown, you know a lot more about it. So
He's really involved.
yeah. And when you say he, a lot of people don't see him right now, but Dr. Beaver's right here. And so why don't you just tell us a little bit about, oh, right there he is. Tell us a little bit about how he's helped you in learning more about this field.
He just talks to me a lot about like patients and stuff,
Okay.
and like how to do computer work and stuff like that.
All right, good. So internships sometimes allow you to, find a little bit more about your passion and find about possibly. Sometimes you find out maybe that's not for you. So tell us a little bit about looking forward to next year. You're going to graduate. I think graduation, is June 6th, right?
Yeah.
And you're at 2:00 at school. And so after graduation, what's your plans?
I'm going to go to IUK for nursing.
For nursing. Okay. So do you see connections with nursing and what Dr. Beaver has done here or is doing here?
Mostly like patient care.
Okay. Is there a certain field, and I guess we're maybe working ahead because when you go into the nursing field, there's a lot of things that you'll learn, but are there certain fields that you're interested in specifically and what you will focus on?
Either surgical nurse or an ER nurse.
Okay. Very, very good. So, well, again, we just thank you for your time. Is there anything else you want to share about your high school career or anything else about the future plans or even here about Hoosier Chiropractic?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, again, we thank you for your time here today, Grayson. And as always, at MSD of Wabash County, dream big and work hard.
Dare to dream about it. Dare to dream about it with Terrell Realty.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about getting into real estate, but I've heard it's really stressful.
Oh no, it's not stressful at all. It's really a cakewalk. I mean, it's one of the simplest jobs you could ever do, really. I mean, what are we doing? Showing houses? I mean, look at me. I am fresh as a daisy, and I'm only 29 years old.
So I guess I'll think on it.
On This Week in Wabash, Bev Ferry joins us again from Living Well in Wabash County. Hi there, Bev.
Hello?
Well, we've got a lot to talk about because since we've spoken, we ran a news story about a study and some really interesting stuff, and we're going to talk about you going to Harvard. We'll talk about that in just a second, but let's talk about masks and where things are with your place.
Hey, so our buses, Wabash County Public Transit, we're covered. We're under the umbrella of TSA, so which has the safety security things at the airport. We, like airlines, have to require everyone to wear a mask on the buses. Anything we take you in, you've got to wear a mask. Even if you're not close to anyone, you still have to wear a mask. Now, in the senior center, we're going to be opening up a lot more come June 1, and we are not going to require masks. We're going to request them. And we're going to encourage people to exercise mask courtesy, which is if someone is talking to you, please put on your mask. And they have a mask, then please put on your mask, just as a courtesy. And so
that's a good idea.
Yeah. And if, and also part of that is not asking them whether they're vaccinated or not. I mean, that's, to be polite, you would just put on your mask. If it changes around here, then we make a difference. But right now, that's what we're going with.
So you've opened up a few things there, some of the classes and MJ and all that stuff. What about the meals and things that were so important to a lot of people?
We're Area 5, still doing them by grab and go. I do not know what they will do. Their decision comes, they're regional. They're out of Logansport, so it'll come out of there. And I'm sure we'll hear eventually, but for right now, we are opening up, and the kitchen site's going to do their own thing when they're allowed to, by their own policies.
Got it.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about Bev Ferry and Harvard University. Wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah, well, I'm doing this just for the t-shirt. But,
yeah, no, what is that study? It's an interesting study.
A Guide to Being Mortal, which sounds to me like a Broadway show. Didn't that sound like a Broadway musical?
I love that news story, the way it was written like that. It sounds like a play or something. Yeah.
And it's A Guide to Being Mortal, testing the What Matters to Me workbook. What Matters to Me is part of the Conversation Project. And anyone can go online or even Facebook and find the Conversation Project. It's nothing, highbrow or anything like that. It's a very common sense. It's a guide to talking to your loved ones. Maybe they're the elder person, maybe you are, but really at any age, sharing what's important with your family members, or if you're not married, with whoever you're close to, and whoever would probably be making arrangements for you. And it's more than just like funeral arrangements. It's sharing stories. It's not, you can do this. You can do the survey in an hour. You go through that workbook, you can do it in an hour. But we want to encourage people to really do what it's intended for, which is to do the most difficult thing on earth, which is to talk to the people we love.
Yeah.
Not an easy subject.
No.
My dad was 90. He wouldn't talk about it. Come on, Dad.
Yeah. So what are some of the main things that you are supposed to be talking to them about?
So, to the families?
Yes.
Well, that's important to them. Aside, maybe there's something is there something special that you want to go to someone to make sure we know who that is? Is there something that you want to do? Is there something on your now bucket list? What is it? It might be solving or meeting and forgiving each other to a relative, before you die or before they die. It could be mending a bridge that was burned and broken. So it could be also, we didn't find out until it was really too late. My mother had the dream of going in a hot water or a hot air balloon. Well, if she had told us when she was a little younger, when she was 90, 3. It was just too late.
Yeah.
What work? So it's important though, so you don't have regrets. You know, like for us, we could have easily done that for my mom if she had just told us. Never heard about it. Where we knew that it was important for her to paint. So that was an easy one for me to make sure that she got the opportunity
Yeah.
to get some painting lessons to paint. That was important. That was her lifelong thing. That was obvious. But the part that wasn't was the hot air balloon. I mean, even if we could have just taken her to one of those festivals, there are things we don't want to find out when it's too late that a loved one really had a wish.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to call it the make a wish thing, but I will call it finding out what matters.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole thing is about. And you know, it might broach a conversation that you had forgotten, whatever it was you'd forgotten completely about. And people need to talk. And that's why I think we are afraid of aging and talking about it. We don't want to say we're getting old. I mean, Botox can only go so far away.
Exactly.
And so it's more, it's not about aging, is not about dying. It's about living well. It's about aging, right? Don't just worry about aging. We've talked about this. Just live your life. Well, the reality is we are mortal. So there's some things maybe there's some housekeeping you want to do in terms of wrapping things up. Like I said, I wish we'd known that my mother wanted to take a hot air balloon ride. Honest to Pete, I never knew it. Her
Well-
knees were not going to support that at that point.
Just the first fact that we are mortal is a conversation that my boys don't even want to have with me. You know, I mean, they're like, "Oh, Dad, quit it. Don't quit it, Dad. Don't quit it." They're the ones saying quit it. I'm like, no, we probably ought to talk about a few things here. So, you know, the earlier the better, obviously. And then there are some people, Bev, have you found out, I'm sure, they're so comfortable with it, where the kids do go, hey, I don't want to hear about it.
So our kids, they grew up talking about funerals because I didn't want them to have like this. Some people just really have a phobia about it. And my parents didn't want to hear anything about it. So we talk about funerals. And so those guys, they want to have a Viking funeral. If you know what that is, where you set the body off in the lake. Anyway, it's a Viking funeral. Anyway, I won't go into details. But you know, our guys, a Viking funeral, look it up. And I said I wanted, this is the story they're going to tell at my funeral. I said I wanted, the song from Wizard of Oz. I, of course, meant Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Mike,
Yeah.
without a split second, said, The Wicked Witch is Dead.
Oh,
Okay. So we had lots of fun.
oh,
It was fun,
that's good.
right?
Yeah, ding dong. Yeah, your boys have a great sense of humor, all of them. Yeah.
I mean, he didn't skip a beat. And those are great stories. And, you know, everybody was laughing. She didn't take it. The thing is, we have to know when to take something seriously and also when to let go of that and to just enjoy the moment. And sometimes we have difficulty talking to our parents, or
Right.
maybe it's the same. But it's so important that we do that. And so this conversation, the workbook is just simple, it's free, and you contact me to 605-634-4475. You know, call us here, or you can get the info at livingwellinwabashcounty.org. It's on our website. And you can email me. I will put you in contact with the doctor from the person that's doing the study out of Harvard. That's where Harvard comes in.
Yes.
And here's the thing with the study. You can quit it anytime. And that's what I like about it, because it might make you feel very uncomfortable. In fact, in the news release, they said, what's the risk to a person? Making them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And at any point, you can stop. And the project, the conversation project, is about learning to be mortal. Basic guide.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate the information. That's awesome. Next week is Memorial Day weekend, so we'll talk right before that and get ready for Memorial Day. Are you guys doing anything special there at the?
Not at the center,
Okay.
because we were just kind of gradually getting into events. But June 1, we're open.
What's that?
We are open. Come June 1, we're open.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Best news we've heard all week.
Oh, it's great news. Very happy about it.
All right. Bev, thank you so much. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Good morning, Scott.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, so how's the fair city after we had an invasion of Marion and Muncie beautiful senior ladies come in yesterday?
I was out of town yesterday
Oh, really? Okay.
and didn't know they were coming in. I headed north to Mishawaka for a meeting with some mayors, and I saw Maria let me know that there was a group of ladies in. Good to see people coming into town.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it's the weather's. I think we finally turned the corner on the weather. Now the complaints about the heat can start because it is going to be warm this weekend.
You know, yesterday for the first time I felt the humidity. Like it got a little close last night. I had to end up coaching my 3-year-old granddaughter's t-ball game. My son's out of town, and so I went down to Fortville and ended up coaching, and man, I was sweating. It was a little.
Oh yeah, a little sticky out yesterday.
I'm also getting too old to be out there coaching t-ball, man. That's for the 20-year-olds, you know.
I don't have patience anymore. It's fun to watch, though. My goodness, they're fun to watch.
They are. It's a great time. Of course, we're moving big time with baseball around here. You know, City Councilman Brian Dillon and all those great volunteers. You've been around a long time, obviously, since you were born, but this is a great baseball community, is it not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, over the years, the system's been built up from minor league and little league to feed into, our high schools. We've got a few state championships in this county at the high school level, and it's taken, you build the foundation, and a lot of volunteers keep that going. There are a ton of kids out there playing. And, a lot of fun to watch, and they do a great job, like you said.
I was heading south just a couple of days ago, as far as south into, north, out of the radio station, and boom, my lane was coming at me on that bridge. So they're making progress, man. Yeah,
they got the east side of it done, and they've shifted over to the west side. So, we'll see that thing done before you know it, I'm pretty sure.
That's going to be really, really nice.
Yeah.
What else is going on around as far as road construction going?
I'm not really sure.
Wabash Street looks good. I see some paving that was done last week, right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure the reason it's come to a halt. That's an NDOT question. I mean, they've had 3 good days of weather to be paving, and I haven't seen any activity. So, not sure what's going on there, but they'll get back to it sooner than later, I'm sure.
Okay. Thought it was interesting yesterday. I had a gentleman get out of a truck, never heard of the company, and he pulled into my parking lot up here, and he started taking pictures, but he was aiming down towards, the south. But I guess it's a fiber optic company, and a new one. Do you know of anything that is a possibility of coming in around here?
No.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything.
I thought that was
that.
odd. Yeah, I thought that was very odd. I called the company and asked him why he was taking pictures of my place. But they're a big fiber optic company, so who knows? Maybe somebody wanted to do something.
Well, we've got several fiber lines coming through here. Indiana Fiber Network has an underground line that they traverse the state, but they're mainly connected to hospitals and banks and things of that nature, and that's part of a nationwide network. But we've got fiber from Metronet, Comcast in the community. We're blessed to have two fiber service providers. There's areas of the state that don't have any, so we're truly blessed to have two service providers here.
Well, that brings me to another big word nationally, government-wise, and that's infrastructure. How are we doing in Wabash, Mayor?
Well, we're doing fine. We do have a small, at the intersection of Cass and Smith Street, there was a small sinkhole that opened up that we've got ironclad coming back to take a look at that. Not sure why that collapsed. We just hooked up the new storm line outfall to the river, but it's north of any work that we did there. So that work's still under warranty for a year, so we're getting them back in here to take a look at it and make sure we get that repaired.
Okay.
That's that gravel underground's got to go somewhere, so
Right.
we got to do some exploration and figure that out and get that corrected. But yeah, infrastructure wise, I think we're in good shape. I do believe, and I've got to get a hold of Brandon Frains at Indiana American Water, Carroll Street. It looks like they're surveying up there, and I found out it was a water company. They're getting ready to put another new water main in, apparently. So I'm going to try to get the details on that. Make sure I know the route that the new main's going. Hopefully we can put it out of the roadway and under the sidewalk, because we just repaved Carroll Street Hill, and definitely don't want to see that, work we did get tore up. But if it has to, it has to. It's nature of the beast.
Right.
Seems like every time we get a street repaved, one of the utilities has something happen and has to come in and make a road cut.
Yeah.
I quit losing sleep over that years ago.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it just happens.
Right.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, exactly. Some great news tonight. This tonight being Thursday, we have a concert out there at the 1324 Drive-In. Travis Tritt comes around again tomorrow night at the Drive-In. Saturday night, a rock show, Firehouse and Winger, and then the Honeywell is planning some indoor activities, and seating is going to get back to normal soon. And Bev Ferry's on This Week in Wabash talking about June 1st when things open up there at the Senior Center. So, good news, man.
Heck yeah. And I actually got a text yesterday evening from a guy I know from Indianapolis that I've worked with on the GDX project. Text me and says, hey, a little birdie told me Travis Tritt's putting a concert on in Wabash. Want to know if I was going to be out and about that night. I believe we got a T-ball game. So,
Okay.
yeah. So he's coming up with some family from Indianapolis and told me he'd stimulate our economy a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I told him I appreciate that. So we're drawing some people in from out of town. Everybody's ready to get out and get at it.
Yeah.
Kind of chomping at the bit. So
Absolutely. Well, anything else you'd like to tell the fine, fair folks of Wabash? What's going on? Anything new?
no, just a reminder. All the area law enforcement agencies are participating. Click it or ticket. Keep your belts on. Stay off your phones while you're driving. I still see that quite a bit. Distracted driving. So everybody be safe. Memorial Day weekend's coming up, and that's usually a big family time. We want to make sure everybody survives and goes home to their friends and family. So it's going to be a good weekend. We've got some nice weather coming up.
Absolutely. All right, Scott, take care.
You bet. Have
All
a
right.
good one.
All right, you too.
Tune in again next Friday for another edition of This Week in Wabash. And also check out the radio program on Sunday mornings at 9 right here on 1059thebash.com and 1059 The Bash Radio.